Honored guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. My name is Riaan van Niekerk and I am a proud Stormers supporter. It gives me great pleasure to address you at this prestigious award ceremony. Not only because this is a wonderful opportunity for me to rub shoulders with my peers in the industry, but also because I can introduce you to our latest banking innovation from Absa, Virtual Pay. It actually launches today, so it's quite a big milestone for us. And it's been tailor-made to take the stress out of transacting with TMCs, booking companies, corporate customers, and the supplier at the end of the value chain. There's never been more a time where a corporate requires data and accurate data as the present. As budgets continue to tighten and businesses do their best to curtail expenditure, in-depth analysis of travel expense has become vital for all businesses regardless of their size, small and corporate sized. Absa Virtual Pay has partnered with MasterCard to create a revolutionary virtual card capability which reduces financial risk, fraud and card abuse, enhances data, all in a seamless process. Now that's an important point. We spent a great deal of time researching the challenges that TMCs faces, and during our research we realized that banks underestimate how corporates value interest-free banking solutions. Corporates want to manage their cost of funding as well as their cash flow better, and our new product will help them achieve that. Most corporate transactions happen via EFT today. We know that, for both travel and for procurement. The charges ranges from about R1.50 to R2.50 per EFT, but if you use a virtual card created with a virtual pay system, the transaction is free, first and foremost. When you consider the number of transactions and transaction fees associated with an annual spend, your company does every year, this solution has the potential to save millions, taking into account funding costs, potentially billions. This is over and above the fact that you can also float your debtors book, and this of course presents another massive opportunity to save a great deal of funding cost. In addition to these savings, we have also a cash reward that will be paid back to the contracted entity. Our reward structure at Absa is quite unique in that we don't limit the reward to a toaster, as an example. It could be a Stormers signed rugby ball, but we also listen to the industry and have created a reward based on both a pre-funded and a credit-based virtual card model. These rewards are paid out in cash, and we have discovered that some of our corporate clients use these rewards for CSR projects down in Cape Town. It works very well. We also have a customer in Durban who use it for a staff incentive. Literally, the corporate customer can do with that whatever he or she wants. We don't limit them to the type of reward they get. In addition, globally this system has been around for 7 years. So the school fees have been paid and we're the benefactor of the lessons learned. A virtual card created through Virtual Pay is not a static card number. It is randomly generated and can be never used again and again. Once it's been used, it's taken off the shelf, so to speak, and it cannot be used again. Virtual Pay is a banking solution that integrates easily with most corporate booking tools through an API that allows a TMC and or a booking engine to seamlessly create virtual cards with various levels of controls that reduce the fraud and abuse or misuse of those virtual cards to zero. That's right. Since 2009, globally, zero fraud, zero misuse, zero abuse. Imagine what delight that brings to a TMC, and I foresee that virtual cards will replace the traditional Travelodge cards pretty soon. What we're also very proud of is the fact that we can create 100% data match on our system. We can do that because we populate the data up front. The API extracts all the relevant data from your GDS, populates it into the system, the transaction is married to the data, and there you go. Real-time data. With the virtual pay ecosystem, you load your mandates and configure certain parameters to be aligned with your corporate travel expense policy. The instances of misuse are therefore significantly reduced. It's another safety feature worth mentioning is while corporates might have high credit limits, they can also set transaction limits with the system. You might have a 10 million rand credit limit, but the transaction you're about to do is 20,000 rand, you can limit it to 20,000 rand. If it comes through the system as 20,000 rand and 1 cent, it will decline. You can also add a tolerance level percentage for VAT, for FX fluctuations, etc. You can also set the virtual card to be at a merchant currency level, also mitigating the FX fluctuation. We don't create another currency. It's just to cater for the FX fluctuation. It still is a rand card. You can also create a start date with our virtual card, but more importantly, an expiration date. So although the primary billing account expires every 3 years, your virtual card can expire down to an hour. You can also set times and periods of transacting, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. for whatever reason you want to do that, but it is possible. When we set out on our journey, a key requirement was ease of use. We did not want to introduce any administration burden, processing burden to anybody. That was the key driver behind the design of the solution. So the API literally introduces 3 clicks. The virtual card's created and electronically submitted to the supplier at the end of that value chain. No different systems that you use. You still use your GDS and you carry on with the transaction. Given that some corporates are still nervous about using plastic expense cards, I am confident that the increased security and match data available on virtual cards will further enhance the value proposition and will start to break down the misconceptions of the risk involved. Personally, I wanted to launch virtual cards 2 years ago, but we wanted to do this the right way. It took us 3 years to design it, to develop it, and to address the issues that the market faces. While I do believe that within the next 5 years, plastic expense cards in the corporate space will be drastically reduced, I appreciate that it might take a little longer for business to fully understand the many benefits that virtual pay offer. However, once corporate starts considering this new solution, I have no doubt they will soon discover that it is an essential business tool. In conclusion, I would like to congratulate all the entrants in the various categories. You have all been at the forefront of making the travel industry a success. A special mention to my friends at Business Traveller for organizing this prestigious event and recognizing excellence in the industry. I wish you all a fantastic day ahead. We'll just play a couple of clips for you and then that concludes my talk. Thank you very much.